What do you fear most when you stand in front of a group of people and you deliver a speech? Whether it be a presentation to a small group or a big group. Is it the fact that you think you'll forget what you're going to say? Is it that you'll lose credibility when you start to speak? Or is it the sheer volume of people? Because people get freaked out, anxious about different things. And once you know what you're freaked out and what you get anxious about, you can then start to do something about it. I remember many years ago, I asked my brother to be a best man at my wedding, so he gave a speech. And just before the wedding, we went to see where the speeches would be delivered. Now, we had a small wedding, 25, 30 people, and it was in an old pub. And when he looked into the room, it was quite an enclosed room, low ceiling, chairs and tables all close together, and that freaked him out big time. He didn't mind speaking to groups of people, 50 or 60 in a big hall, but actually 25 people in a very small, intimate environment totally freaked him out. So think about, what is it that freaks you out? If it's the fact that you might lose your credibility, that you might forget what you're saying, that's about what you do beforehand, the preparation, your structure, your content, how you position all that. If it's about the numbers of people in the room, that's a different solution. Cambridge University recently came up with an AI-generated virtual reality product, which I've been looking at, and it's a really interesting concept. So the whole idea is it's about overexposure. So the concept is, if I get exposed to something small, I'll start to get used to that. My fear and my anxiety will drop. Then I get exposed to something a little bit bigger. So a thing that a lot of people are afraid of, as apart from public speaking, is spiders. You start off holding a toy spider and then you end up holding a tarantula. This has got the same concept. And it uses an app which you can download onto your phone. And then you can either put that into a box in front of you, or you can put it into a virtual reality face mask. And the whole idea there is you'll deliver your speech and you'll see the people in the room, and it'll start off with one or two people who are friendly. There's different grades and different levels, and depending on how fast you want to go, how much exposure you want, it'll up the ante. Smaller room, people who are disengaged, bored talking, right through to the very end, level 10, when it looks at a whole auditorium and how you speak in an auditorium. The results so far from some of the research they've done has been really positive, and people have said that they've really benefited from this. So if part of your issue is standing in front of a room and you get freaked out by how many people are in the room, that's a great resource to look. It's free and you can go and access it. So I've got the link in the comments where you can go and have a look at it. I've played with it. It looks really, really good. If your fear is not about how many people are in the room, but it's about, do I come across as credible? Do I engage with my audience? Do I share the content in a way that relates to them? That's a totally different set of preparation techniques. Part of that is then looking at, what's my key message? How do I create the content and deliver that content in a way that relates to my audience, that my audience can understand, and my audience can go, oh wow, I'm really curious, tell me more. Especially if you're a small business and you're going into a networking event and maybe you've been given 5 minutes to do a pitch, or you're with a client and you're sharing your new product with them. Being able to get across your content, your message in a way that they can relate to, is going to have a big impact in the conversations you have thereafter. If you're really good at what you say, you're on target, you're on message, you've got a really good structure to follow, and it doesn't take you forever to prepare for it, you're going to have a great result. If you're not sure about the message, if you've got too much content, that's going to confuse them. And I tend to find a lot of the clients I work with, they come from a science background, an IT background, a finance background. They've got a lot of detail. They know a lot of stuff. What they sometimes try to do is share a lot of stuff to impress you. And that has negative impact. If you confuse people, they stop listening. If you've got too many messages, they get bored. So you've got to think about, am I on message? Am I sharing the right amount of information at the right level to my audience? And what's my call to action? what I want them to do as a result of listening to this. So if you're fearful of standing in front of a group of people, then I would highly recommend you go and have a look at this stuff on Cambridge University. I've had a look at it. I've downloaded the app. It looks really exciting. Definitely worth doing. If the fear and the anxiety is about, do I come across as credible? Can I engage with my audience? Then come and speak to me. I'm running a course next month looking at the whole concept of this. So how do you get your mindset right? How do you structure your message? How do you put your content in a way which is relevant to your audience? And how do you constantly build that engagement and connection with the audience right through the whole of your talk? If speaking in front of groups of people is important to you and is part of your development to grow your business, this is a must-attend course. Click on the link below in the comments. You'll find out exactly what we cover, what the difference it'll make to you, and how you can build that into your current structure to help you have more impact and more influence as a speaker and presenter.